This is the Peak Designs Everyday 10-liter sling bag. And this is a fake version 1 Peak Designs Everyday 10-liter sling bag. And if you want to see the review to this bag, I have a review that I'll link up here. But today I want to talk about ultimately how this bag failed me and whether or not you should buy the fake bag or if the real Peak Design bag is worth getting. Hint, hint. The real one's worth getting, and if you want to know why, watch the rest of this video. Quick reminder, guys, if you guys are looking for some of the best deals in tech, go ahead and check out my new project TechFluent over on Facebook. If you guys like the videos, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And always, after I post the video, I will be on Discord talking to you guys, answering questions. Peace. I got the fake bag I used for about 2 years. I just recently got the authentic version 2. I want to go over what some of these key differences between these two bags for you guys are, and just kind of between some of the fake Peak Designs products in general, and whether or not it's worth it for you to use one of the fake bags versus the authentic bag. So the first big difference is the zippers. Now these fake waterproof zippers that they have, the waterproof part at the top begins to delaminate after 3 or 4 months of use, and the bag just loses all waterproofness. As it is, this material itself is definitely not waterproof. I live in Vietnam where we get monsoons. Second detail is on the inside of the bags, uses this like kind of ripstop ballistic nylon, and this material itself holds up totally adequate, totally fine. But there isn't any padding, there's no expandability, there's no stretch at all to this material, which kind of sucks because when you put batteries in it, they fall out pretty easily. The dividers, I'll do a close-up for you guys of the dividers. The dividers actually were of similar quality to the authentic ones and they held up totally fine. The tablet compartment in the back, adequate padding. It's not really a point that I can complain about. The little Velcro strap did its job. That said, hardware on the outside, super cheap. The rivets for these are not rivets. I guess they would be rivets. They began to rust after 6 months of use or so. As soon as the anodization wore off, they fell apart. This strap, totally acceptable strap if you have a small load in it, and the strap still totally functions fine. I would love to find another use for this strap because it's a really good high quality strap. The buckle itself, I've had to tighten this a few times. It's just a little screwdriver. This buckle works just as fine as the authentic one does. The articulation points. Now I thought these articulation points were going to fail and they didn't. These articulation points worked totally fine. The tarpaulin, or probably fake tarpaulin on them, held up adequately, I would say. It did its job and the material was fine. This side clip compartment thing where you're supposed to put your capture clip for your camera, this ripped off on me pretty easily and I was just using it to hold a water bottle. A water bottle that I would say was probably less than 1.5 kilos. And as you guys can see, the way that this is attached to the bag is it's just sewn at one seam. If you want to trust your expensive camera on this type of attachment point, totally up to you. I never used it on my camera because I personally didn't trust it. Hardware on the front functions and looks totally fine, just like the authentic one, but the finish on it wore off, and you can kind of, I'll show you guys some close-ups. The finish on it wore off pretty fast, and overall, it just did not stand the test of time the way it has on my Peak Designs Everyday Backpack 30-liter, which I've had since 2016. So let's get that out of the way just to kind of show you some of the areas that are significantly improved on the authentic bags. So this is the authentic bag. The material for the strap is not any more heavily padded, but the material on it definitely feels nicer against your bare skin. The zippers, now the zippers on this thing are a huge improvement. They are the proprietary Peak Design zippers that they manufacture, and they move a lot smoother. I like them a lot more. The material on the inside for your memory cards, this is not as stretchy as I would have hoped. I would have hoped for it to have a little bit more kind of bunginess to it, but this part of the bag definitely stretches a little bit better than that other material. No metal rivets there on the sides. that's the difference between the version 2 and the version 1. One thing that I'm a little disappointed by, to be honest, is that these buckles are plastic instead of metal, but less weight. It's something that's totally fine. Articulation points. Let's get a close up. These are typical, excellent Peak Design quality, flawless. Okay, next big improvement that I wanted to show you guys is the capture clip anchor points. These are integrated structurally into the bag, and they are much more rigid and much more reassuring if you want to put your expensive camera on it. And we go to the inside into this liner. I don't really see a big difference in quality of the liner. This uses the Peak Designs proprietary ripstop nylon, which I think is totally adequate and totally fine. And so really what you're paying for in regards to the difference between the two bags and how they function is this bag is more or less not going to fail you in the field, or there's a lot less likelihood of this product failing you in the field. On the other hand, this product is significantly more likely to fail you. This is made in China. This bag is made in Vietnam, pretty close to, well, it's made in the south, but close to Ho Chi Minh City. This bag, the areas that stuff attaches here, I would never feel comfortable attaching a tripod to these outer straps, because knowing how they've attached the capture clip point here, I'm assuming that these are just sewn into one of the seams in the same way. Maybe it's double seamed, but certainly not reinforced, which if you're out on a shoot and you're carrying a tripod and now all of a sudden you can't carry the tripod, that's definitely gonna leave you stranded. The zippers, the zipper of mine that broke. Peak Design bags are not zipper breaking proof, but I do have a lot more confidence in those zippers lasting versus these zippers. These are unbranded zippers. There's no YKK zipper on these, which is a brand of zipper that's generally considered to be really high quality. Anchor points, I don't really think are an area that are going to necessarily break on you, but the reality is that this bag, I got this bag for like less than 35 or 40 bucks. That bag was like 125 bucks, 130 bucks here. And I was really, really surprised at the overall longevity of this bag. But the fact that now I would need to pay 20 bucks or 30 bucks to get this zipper replaced brings the overall cost of this bag just way up more than I want to pay. Whereas this bag, lifetime warranty from Peak Designs, buy it once, it won't end up in a landfill. Unfortunately, either I'll give this bag away or it will end up in a landfill, which is quite unfortunate. But I would say that even if you're looking to get an inexpensive bag, don't get the fake one just because it's your camera gear that's really, really expensive. And personally, I would rather spend an extra 70 or 80 bucks on the authentic bag and save a couple $1,000s on, let's say, a zipper breaking and camera gear falling out, or one of the seams ripping and your camera gear falling out. And even if you can't afford one of these bags, Peak Designs has a great used program, and you can get their used gear from people, or you could go with another brand like Think Tank, Timbuk2. Those all are reputable camera bag companies, which are going to get you more life and more longevity out of your camera bag than this fake one is. Now, as you guys could see, there's really not much in the way in regards to design that differentiates between these two bags, even the 10-liter version 1 versus the 10-liter version 2. But ultimately, it's the details and it's the fact that you're trusting these bags with thousands of dollars of camera equipment that makes the real one worth getting. Now, if you aren't going to use this for camera gear and you just want a cheap, like everyday sling bag, this one would be okay, but I just don't like the idea of buying disposable products that end up in landfills.